I would like to show you another book which I consider very important. Previously we have seen this book, Understanding Pawn Play in Chess, in which Drazen Marovic analyze some structures that continue to happen in the games of chess and how to deal with them, okay? Instead, in this book, the question is about the central pawns. He says, how should pawns be used to fight for the center? How does the central pawn formation affect planning for both sides? These questions are central to understanding chess and are the primary subject matter of this book. Here practically we'll discuss the open center, closed block center, fixed center and the mobile dynamic center. Okay? We start with a short historical survey. Okay? And of course it begins with the Romantic era, which is Morphy and Andersen. Okay? Why does he start this and what does he say here? He says, this book is about the center and pawns and their intriguing, complex interrelationship. The center is characterized by its pawn formation so deeply that even when the central pawns have been exchanged in the early skirmishes, their very absence determines the nature of the play and demands a distinctive and appropriate method of play. Okay, well, let's start to see. Here it shows us game number 1 is Morphy Andersen. I like the books by Drazen Marovic because it gives all the game, and for me it's nice to show and see the game by myself also. So Morphy was white and he played e4. This game was played in Paris in 1858, and it's the 7th game of the match between Morphy and Andersen. Andersen plays d5, which is one of the openings, the Scandinavian, which has been revised today. In the beginning, and not even in the beginning, I tell you, in the 1980s, 1970s, this opening was considered bad. Why? Because they said after e takes d5, queen takes d5, white gains tempo, right? Because he develop a piece and attack this. So this cannot be good. But in reality, we have seen even that just returning back is okay. When did we discover this? We discovered it, like always, thanks to Stockfish, because Stockfish, obviously, it's a monster, and being a monster, he show you things about the opening that you would never imagine, right? But in this game, black played queen a5, and white continue with d4. So imagine the advantage here, right? One piece out, the bishops are ready to get out. I mean, it's great. What did black achieve? Nothing. Yet I tell you, the Scandinavian today is a good opening to play. Is something every beginner should play to learn about the center. That's really why. After d4, black played e5, which is considered dubious by the author. Keep in mind that this book was printed in 2001. In 2001, computers were nearly stronger than human, probably. I think the surpass to human was made in 2005. In the end, in 2005, there was no human able to actually beat a computer. And I think it was with a match Kramnik against maybe Deep Fritz, I don't know. I don't know, honestly. In any case, after this he says, the purpose of this move is to annihilate the pawn center, but, as we shall see, it has its price. The more cautious knight f6 is a better option. Okay, but honestly it's an interesting move. Interesting move because it opens the diagonal for the bishop f8, and in fact ask white the question, what are you going to do? Obviously white played this, and black played this. This I don't think is good, honestly. I think this should have been considered a kind of gambit. And I'm just telling you of my feeling, okay? Not that it's the right move or wrong move, but what I mean is that you should play something that develops your pieces, something to bring out. This has been good to just damage white center, overextend it. Then of course you need to demonstrate if it was good or not. Here it says, the books I consulted regularly recommended bishop b4 as better, which I doubt very much indeed. The simple knight f3 is then favorable for white. Having written this, I found the relatively recent game Ivanchuk-Angelov in Varna 1987, which continue with a 5 knight c6. Okay, so instead of this or this, he played this, like I said. Yeah, it makes sense. Keep in mind that Ivanchuk is white, so Ivanchuk is a strong player. It's probably one of the players who wasn't a world champion, but probably he could have been. Okay, knight c6, let's see what happened. Knight f3, bishop b4, so it's just a transposition. Bishop d2, bishop g4, e3, knight d4. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Knight d4. Well, here it's kind of complicated with the position, right? Kind of scary. Bishop b5, and now there is c6. It seems that knight b5 takes b5 lose. Wow, interesting. Okay, c6. Let's see what happened after c6. Wow, he plays castle, so he has taken the king away. And after bishop takes f3. Let's see what happens. A takes b4. Bishop takes d1. B takes a5. Bishop takes c2. And bishop e4. And black has an uphill struggle ahead of him, according to Ivanchuk. Well, I don't know who won, right, of this game. However, let's return back to Morphy's game because it's very exciting. In fact, it lasts like 25 moves, so it's a kind of miniature. Okay, now we return to the position that we were analyzing. And I would like to convey the message of the author, because he said in this game and another game that is presenting after, he says the characteristic of that time is that they were not trying to occupy the center with their pawns or controlling it from far. They were using their pawns to disintegrate the center and open it. So that's what is the author is trying to convey with this game. And in fact it continues with this move, right, after which there is this move, and so this is the disintegration of the center, okay? Bishop e2, bishop b4, knight f3. The problem, however, with the reasoning of the author is that I have played this kind of games too. I mean, when I started playing chess, I surely did play also the Scandinavian, and it happened that I played moves like this. The problem is I wasn't aware that I was disintegrating the center. Generally, especially when I was playing tournament games, it just showed that one, I didn't have a good opening preparation, and I was also calculating a lot. Because if I played this kind of move, I would have calculated if it was convenient or not and why I played it. Instead, the author ascribed to me or Andersen the idea that I want to destroy the center. I did not have that idea. Maybe Andersen did, but I did not, and I'm sure this move at club level, when I was, I don't know, 1200, 1500, were moves I would have played. Okay? So, here it says, after knight f3, white relies upon development. He correctly assesses that his bishop pair and quicker development will represent excellent compensation for the sacrifice pawn. Okay, bishop takes e3, b takes e3, queen takes e3, the sacrifice pawn, bishop d2, that connect the rook and the queen, queen c5, and rook b1. Of course, now white has an advantage, right? You can see immediately that has an advantage. But let's say that you are not able to evaluate the position. Why white has an advantage? 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces still in their initial square. So black is 4 tempi behind. Okay? Here he has, white has 2 bishops that are already controlling many lines, many squares. Black doesn't have a bishop pair. Here white is one move away from putting the king in a safe place and centralize the rook. Black is at least 2 moves away. And as you can see, white also has a rook already on an open file, which means he can lift it here and maybe at a certain point go here to attack the enemy castle. Okay? So this situation is evaluated in chess as white has an advantage. Is this an advantage that lasts forever? No. This is a temporary advantage, okay? Temporary advantage. If white doesn't continue to play this strong, he will not be able to capitalize on this advantage and convert the dynamic strength of these pieces, this activity, in something that can give a huge material return. Okay? Okay, so notice that I didn't see it, but white can also play this. Okay, so black continue with knight c6, castle, knight f6, bishop f4, castle, and bishop take c7. This it's an interesting move because it takes away some square to the queen, but maybe it was better to play this move because if he goes here, boom, you have gained another tempo in activating a rook. So it's kind of interesting because obviously Morphy in that time he was the god of development and attack, but bishop takes e7 seems a little weak. Okay, it doesn't seem a strong move a la Morphy, let's say. How does black continue? Black played with knight d4. Black takes the opportunity to simplify. Yeah, great move. Queen takes e4. Queen takes e7. And now you can see one thing, that black has two connected pawns, but white has two isolated pawns. This is kind of nice for black. Okay, this is nice for black. How did white continue? He played bishop d3, and here black made a mistake, which is bishop g4. Here it says, in positions with an open center, there is great scope for tactics. Therefore, the defender should be constantly wary of combinative blows. It seems that here it was better to play this. Okay? Or this move, probably with this. But that's what he played, right? And white continued with bishop with knight g5. Obviously the threat is knight takes here, because if you take back with a knight, it takes your bishop, right? So rook f d8. Queen b4, attacking this. Bishop c8. Wow, terrible. Why this move is terrible? Because the problem is that this is now out. Probably this move is not good. Okay. I think it was here. Probably this is the move. You need to keep this rook into the game. Playing this, you are now playing -5, right? So that's definitely not good. Rook f e1, and here it says white black queenside sleeps happily. White activates all his forces. The balance of power has turned in white's favor, and the defensive measures are not at hand. So here there is a diagram. Black continue with e5, but again, probably this was the move to play. Okay, it makes sense. Maybe he would lose in any case, but at least you try to clarify the situation. So after e5 there is queen e7, queen takes e7, and of course after there is rook takes e7, and knight d5. So how does white win here? What would you play if you were white in this position? Okay, let's try to discover it. The move is bishop takes h7. Very interesting move. Obviously you cannot play this because there is this, right? And things start to go really bad once white played this. So what does black play? Black played king h8, but after king h8 there is still the same. Okay, knight c3, threatening the rook d1, probably rook e1, and here black plays this. Knight takes a2, rook f4, rook a6, and bishop d3, and here black resign. Okay, of course there are many moves things that are going wrong here, so there is a reason, okay? I hope you enjoyed this game, and of course we will see more from this book at a later time. This was a dynamic poem play. Let me know if you like it, so we will explore more from this book and learn more about poem structure related to the center, what the center actually meant, and the change in meaning during different chess period. Thank you very much for watching.